Hello there, my people. Hola, mi gente. I am Dr. Nicole Peak, a licensed psychologist based out of Colorado. I hope all of you had a fabulous holiday weekend. I, for one, am tired AF. I'm sorry. I just have to be honest. I feel like Easter has become like the new Christmas, and so I am tired. But that said, I am excited to be here today. I want to continue our conversations that we've been having about some of the mental habits that can get us into trouble. We've covered black and white thinking. We've talked a lot about emotional reasoning. And so today I wanted to talk about two that can get us into trouble. And I've lumped them together just because they are very similar. So the first one is what's known as mind reading, and its sibling would be fortune telling. And basically, the two are very similar in that it's all about making assumptions. We make assumptions in mind reading about what other people are thinking about us. And in fortune telling, we're making assumptions about what will happen in a situation. So what is the problem with doing this? Let's talk a little bit about that. So first and foremost, last time I checked, as human beings, we do not have the power, I wish we did, to be able to predict the future. How wonderful would that be, right? And in fact, we've got lots of research to suggest that we are, again, pardon my French, shitty predictors of the future. If we look at social psychology, there's lots of research behind that. And in fact, we fall prey to all kinds of biases when we try to do that. So that's problematic. Second thing is that typically when we are making predictions, again, they're very one-sided. We're not predicting like everything's going to be awesome and wonderful and that person just loves me, or I am just going to like kick butt in that presentation tomorrow. It's typically negative, right? We're making negative assumptions about what other people are thinking about us and negative assumptions about potentially what may happen. The third thing I would say is that when we make assumptions, it's kind of just yucky to be experiencing those emotions as if that information were true. Because as I shared with you, we can be very faulty and oftentimes those things are not true. And so talk about kind of suffering, lots of different meanings in suffering, what it means to suffer. But in my eyes, that's kind of, I think that's suffering. When we're experiencing emotions to assumptions that we think will happen, and we're experiencing those emotions as if they were true. So that, again, is not so great. So what do we do when we find ourselves doing that? So I guess number one, as we've talked about with all the other ones, is that we want to just become aware that we're falling into that kind of a mindset. And typically, if we're feeling yucky about a situation or we're feeling yucky about a relationship, that's probably a good clue as to, am I making an assumption here? The second thing we want to do is we want to do what's known as check the facts, right? Is there any evidence to suggest that this is true? Because oftentimes there's not, and we're kind of doing a little bit of emotional reasoning. So what I mean by that is, what's the evidence and how legit is that evidence, right? Are we just going off of, because I feel that way, I just feel like something bad is going to happen. And again, that's where we're falling prey into that emotional reasoning. So we want to make sure that our evidence is legit. And then the other big one, I would say, step 3, is to look at alternative explanations. Is there something else that could be going on here? And so again, we oftentimes can fall to this kind of thinking, all of us, whether we're depressed or anxious or just living life, right? And so is there an alternative explanation? A specific example for me was one day I had prepared this meal and I had just spent lots of time and it was going to be special. I'm not a big cook, as many of you may know. And I had followed my recipe, and my husband, I had checked in with him to see when he was coming home, and boy, was late. And every minute that passed, I was fuming more and more. And it was really just that I'm not a priority. I'm not important to him. Yada, yada, yada. And so what happens is that he came home and boy was late because he was getting me flowers. Oops. I kind of goofed on that one. Same thing, saw a friend in the grocery store on her way out, didn't wave to me, and I started being like, oh, maybe we're not as good friends as I thought we were, or maybe she's embarrassed to like wave at me in front of everybody. And come to find that girl had just gotten papers for divorce from her husband. So is there an alternative explanation that could potentially explain what's going on? So now you know, and leave some comments below. Let me know how that goes, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.